Imagine living in a city where your daily subway commute begins inside a mountain, not beside a mountain, not underneath a mountain, inside one. Welcome to Guiyang, China, a city famous for its dramatic terrain, towering hills, and some of the most ambitious urban engineering projects ever attempted. Hidden within the massive Shijian Mountains sits one of the most unusual metro stations in the country, Wulichong Station. What makes this station remarkable isn't just its location. It's the incredible story of how engineers managed to carve an entire transportation hub directly into solid rock while simultaneously connecting one of Asia's largest residential developments. As Metro Line 3 snakes its way through Guiyang's mountainous landscape, the tunnel dives beneath busy roads, residential towers, and even older transportation tunnels before reaching this underground marvel. The station serves the enormous Guiyang residential complex, a development so massive that it has often been compared to a city within a city. Yet despite serving hundreds of thousands of residents, Wulichong Station stands apart from every other station on the line because it is the only one built entirely inside a mountain. For urban planners, civil engineers, and transportation enthusiasts, it represents a fascinating blend of geography, necessity, and human ingenuity. The station's strategic location places it near major roads, including Guiyang Road and the city's Central Ring Road, allowing it to serve not only local residents but also commuters traveling across the city. However, while the station itself is an engineering success, its surrounding infrastructure tells a more complicated story, one involving unfinished connections, accessibility challenges, and unexpected frustrations for the people who rely on it every day. As construction neared completion, excitement began building throughout the surrounding neighborhoods. The tunnels had been excavated, the station chambers carved into the mountain, and interior finishing work was entering its final stages. Deep beneath the surface, trains would eventually pass under residential towers, roadways, and layers of complex urban infrastructure. The scale of the project was extraordinary. Engineers had to account for difficult geology, steep elevation changes, and the challenge of integrating a modern metro station into an already densely developed area. Unlike conventional subway stations built beneath flat city streets, Wulichong Station had to adapt to the natural contours of a mountain environment. 3 station entrances were strategically positioned at different locations around the mountain's base, providing access to nearby residential buildings and major transportation corridors. One entrance was even located near the portal of a roadway tunnel, demonstrating how tightly integrated the station had become with the surrounding urban landscape. Yet from the beginning, one problem was obvious. There was a substantial elevation difference between the station entrances and the adjacent road network. For pedestrians, especially elderly residents, people with disabilities, or anyone carrying luggage, simply reaching the station could become a physically demanding challenge. Recognizing this issue, planners proposed a solution that seemed straightforward: a vertical elevator system connecting the lower roadway directly to the elevated station access points. The concept promised seamless movement between buses, roads, and metro services, potentially creating one of the city's most efficient transportation transfer hubs. But this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Although the elevator structure was completed and installed, it remained closed to the public long after Metro Line 3 officially entered service. When trains began operating, commuters naturally assumed that all supporting infrastructure would become available as well. Instead, residents discovered that the very feature designed to solve the station's accessibility problem remained locked and unusable. As weeks turned into months, confusion and frustration grew. The elevator stood visibly complete, yet no explanation was provided regarding why it remained out of operation. For local residents, the consequences were immediate. Rather than enjoying direct access between the roadway and station entrance, commuters were forced to take lengthy detours involving steep walks, indirect routes, and inconvenient elevation changes. The situation became particularly frustrating because the surrounding area had been carefully designed to support multimodal transportation. Nearby bus stops were positioned specifically to facilitate easy transfers between bus services and the metro network. Had the elevator been operational, passengers could have moved efficiently from bus to train within minutes. Instead, what should have been a showcase example of integrated urban transportation became a symbol of unfinished planning. Residents questioned whether technical issues were responsible, but many found it difficult to believe that a fully constructed elevator could remain inactive for such an extended period without explanation. The mystery surrounding its closure became a frequent topic of discussion among commuters and local observers. The challenges did not stop there. Areas originally intended for transportation access gradually evolved into informal parking zones, creating congestion and reducing the effectiveness of nearby roadways. Access roads designed to facilitate traffic flow became crowded with parked vehicles. Turnaround lanes intended for buses and service vehicles faced similar issues. Urban planners often emphasize that transportation infrastructure functions as an interconnected system, where every component must operate properly to achieve maximum efficiency. Wulichong Station illustrates what can happen when even a single critical element remains unavailable. Despite the station's impressive engineering achievements and strategic location, the lack of fully functional pedestrian connections continues to limit its potential. Yet perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this story is what it reveals about modern urban development in China. Cities like Guiyang are expanding at extraordinary speed, constructing highways, tunnels, bridges, residential districts, and transit systems on a scale rarely seen elsewhere in the world. In such rapidly evolving environments, infrastructure projects often resemble living organisms, constantly changing, adapting, and growing. Wulichong Station embodies both the successes and challenges of this approach. On one hand, engineers accomplished the remarkable feat of building an entire metro station inside a mountain. On the other hand, seemingly simple accessibility improvements remain unfinished, demonstrating that even the most impressive megaprojects can be affected by practical everyday issues. Today, Wulichong Station remains one of the most unique transit stations in China. Hidden within the rocky interior of Shijian Mountain, it serves as a testament to human determination to overcome geographical obstacles. Few places on Earth offer a clearer example of how modern engineering can transform difficult terrain into functional urban infrastructure. Yet its story is still unfolding. Residents continue to hope that the long-awaited elevator will finally open, unlocking the full potential of the station and creating the seamless transportation experience originally envisioned by planners. Until then, Wulichong stands as both an engineering triumph and an urban mystery, a place where cutting-edge transit technology meets unresolved questions. For visitors, transportation enthusiasts, and curious observers alike, it offers a fascinating glimpse into the complexities of building a modern city in one of the world's most challenging landscapes. The next time you step onto a subway platform, consider this. Somewhere in the mountains of southwest China, commuters are boarding trains from deep inside a mountain, surrounded by layers of rock, roads, and unfinished ambitions. And that alone makes Wulichong Station one of the most remarkable transit destinations you may have never heard of.